Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video for you, we're doing a little bit of a market watch, but also I just want to give some tips for people that are not really sure how to go about watching the market and how to, anticipating making money at cards, right? So we're going to do a little bit of market watch, but also a little bit of tips and tricks to make money basically at this trading card game. We're just going to use Digimon as an example, but really these same tools apply to countless other TCGs out there. So whatever you're into, if you're not good or just trying to get a grasp on how making money at TCGs work, hopefully this will help you out, or at least it helps me out. This is what I use, and I've made a decent amount without hardly any investment. So yeah, I think it works, and it works for me, so I feel like it could work for you as well. And if you're big into using a lot of capital, you've got a lot of money to spend, then you can make even more money than I could possibly hope to make. And just a quick shout out, the featured memory marker that we have today, this is no longer the Patreon reward, but this is still a fantastic memory marker for all you Hunters players out there. Really great deck, especially post ban list. Great memory marker to go with that. This is handmade out of clay, hand painted as well, all by my wife, Digimiyu. You can find her Etsy page, link in the description below. Also, there you can find all of her previous memory markers that we featured on the channel for her there as well. And a lot of them have been updated. A lot of the older ones have been updated. And we've been doing this for a few years now, so there has definitely been changes. So if you haven't gone in there in a while, definitely go check them out. Also, if you guys are a fan of buying cards and singles online like I am, I recommend checking out cardtrader.com. I'll have a link in the description below that you can go and use to sign up. You'll instantly get a free $2 to use on cardtrader.com. It's a great website because if you use their Card Trader Zero program, what they do is they gather all the cards that you're buying at their warehouse, and then they ship them to you for a single shipping cost. It sucks when you have to pay more for the shipping than you do the cards themselves. That's when cardtrader.com comes in clutch. So just use my link, go sign up, and get yourself free $2 and go start buying some singles. All right, so while yes, Card Trader is a great place, the go-to pricing when looking at cards is typically going to be TCG Player. It's probably the most used for that regard. So that's what we're going to use here today to go off of. First off, let's just do the market watch portion, just some stuff that I thought was really interesting. Making money at this game is usually the stuff that moves the quickest is whatever's current, right? Whatever the most recent set is, that's the stuff that moves the fastest, whatever the most recent tournament pack is, prize cards, all that kind of stuff. That's what moves the quickest. And then following after that is going to be whatever's coming up in the future, right? So if people have cards that they need in the future, then that stuff is going to move really quickly also. So we're going to use the most recent set here for Digimon across time, and just kind of looking at some prices here I thought was really interesting. Shine Greymon right now at this moment, trash deck. Just there's not enough support for it. If you're trying to be meta, there's not enough out there. Fantastically strong cards, there's just not enough there to make a whole complete deck yet. But look at these cards. These are the most expensive alt arts in the set. I have scrolled down a little bit because I'm not talking about the short print gold and silvers and other tournament cards. We're talking about just pure regular alt arts. Yeah, Marcus, $52. Been sitting here strong. Got bought out and has never gone back down. Shine Greymon, I hovered around this for quite a while. I think it was in the low 40s when it first came out, and it's just gone up and up ever since. Some other stuff that was kind of surprising me is that stuff that's kind of dropping off. It dropped off a little bit, but it's held steady. The War Greymon alts, the Emperors, the Ties, those are holding pretty strong. The Takuyas here. Beelzemon X specifically has definitely dropped down. I think a lot of people are offloading these, and we're not getting any more solid support for this deck for a long time. So in the further and further we go, the less and less this deck will be used, especially post ban list. So just kind of keep that in mind. This deck fell off more and more in JP, while other decks climbed higher and higher. So I definitely expect this to probably drop some more the further and further we get into this format, as well as further and further, or closer and closer, we get to EX4 and eventually BT13, because they're one right after each other there. So the closer we get to those, the more this is going to drop, I think. But these shouldn't drop. I can't imagine them getting higher, but in theory they could. And the better the deck gets, then the more expensive they can get. These are both, I'm pretty sure, 4-ofs in the deck. You could argue maybe Shine being a 3 way later, but I think as a 4-of, it's still pretty solid. And the Marcus here is absolutely a 4-of. It's so strong. Whereas Beelzemon X is like a 2-of in most decks. So that also will accompany the price. The more a card is used, the more expensive it's going to get. So these guys are just going to hold value forever. If anything, they'll go up. Look at Rena. Even the regular art Renas are still like sitting around this price, and that deck hasn't even performed nearly on the level that Shine Greymon will in the future. So these alt are going to just stay at this price, if not just get more expensive. Coming down here, though, looking at some other high-performing decks, right? We've got Red Hybrid here with Emperor Greymon and Takuya. Both these are pretty much 4-ofs, or at least a 3-of and a 4-of in every deck for Red Hybrid. Red Hybrid's having solid topping results every single tournament. So sitting around $30, that feels about right. They're not like this end-all be-all deck or anything like that, but it's a deck that's going to sit around forever, and anytime in the future there's going to be any sort of Red Hybrid support, whatever it may be, then alt arts like this will always go back up. Okay, so even if they fall, they will go back up. I don't see them falling anytime soon. Mainly it's just going to be the people that play these decks are often the people that just jump from the next fast deck to the next fast deck to the next fast deck. They're not really like a dedicated. There are some, don't get me wrong, there are some, and those are the people that are all decked out in all alt arts that are like purely dedicated to Red Hybrid. But yeah, Red Hybrid is just one of those decks that's going to last forever. So I think these are solid investments as well. Arrestramon Superior Mode, holding a good $25 here. Feels about right. Hunters is a solid deck, going to stick around forever. It has a ton of alt arts, though. I mean, if you look here, we've got the Tamers, as well as they've got like the pre-releases for the other Tamers that you can get. So, you know, there's some good value here. I think 15, 16 bucks on these. That's a great like pickup point. Absolutely, if you're playing the deck, I would pick these up. I couldn't see these going below $15. I think they're going to bounce around between 15 and 25. Anytime the deck will do well, it'll go back up, but I don't see them dropping below 15. Now, a card that I'm kind of surprised is still sitting so high is this Takato here. Now, Gallantmon is one of the most popular Digimon in this franchise, so seeing it sitting here, you know, it's purely because of that. It's not because the deck is doing well, unfortunately, because I love Gallantmon. He's in my top 3 favorite Digimon of all time, but the alt arts, you know, holding this for a deck that's not doing well is kind of a surprise. I mean, look at Imperialdramon Fighter Mode, also a huge fan favorite and often a highly performing deck in the game. Yet he's sitting down here at $15. I very much expect probably Takato that could continue to go down, so I wouldn't necessarily jump on picking these up. I could see them going down a little bit more. Same with the Imperialdramon and Davis. As long as they're not the deck isn't performing, these guys are going to sit right here. I don't see them jumping up anytime soon. There's no future support for these guys for quite some time, so they'll probably sit around this. Now, it only takes one announcement for more support for stuff like this to go back up, because you never know if it's going to be useful, and some people will just do a buyout even before seeing all the releases. So that's going to do it for all the main alt arts for this set. I thought it was really interesting. But one of the things that fascinated me so much was actually in just the regular SRs for this set, which is going to be on page 2 here, getting away from the alt arts soon as it loads. But one of them was Shine Greymon is still holding. I mean, granted, like we said, it's going to be one of the best decks of the format coming up here. But for an SR, it's holding at an $8 value. This is like your Black War Greymons, your Black War Greymon X's, right? Those cards have held value for such a long time. And what was the other one? Chimeramon. That was another super rare that held a very solid $8, $10 price tag for a long time. That's basically what this is for a lot of people. $8. If you have extras of these, go ahead and offload them. Like $8 a copy for a regular SR that you're going to get in every single box. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and trade away. Kind of same thing with the superior mode here. Now, superior mode, though, is not one of those decks that sticks around forever. Eventually, it just starts to get more and more power crept, where Shine Greymon for the next, 2 more sets. We got this set that we just got, and then the next 2 after that, it gets more and more support, and it becomes insanely powerful once it gets burst mode. So these SRs are going to be useful for a long time. So they won't drop in value at all. I don't think, just because this is the only like level 6 that you're ever going to really have for the deck that's going to be like good. So this is the one you're going to want to use. Another one that surprised me was Quartzmon still holding an $8 price tag. Like, Emperor here is less than Quartzmon, and Quartzmon's like a 2 of, right? Where Emperor is like 3 to 4 copies in every deck, mostly on 4, and Quartzmon is only ever a 2, and this deck isn't even played that much. Now, specifically Quartzmon's not really played at all, but like, the Hydra is I think the thing is, this is just like a tech in a lot of decks, and that's the best it is, but it's only ever a 2 of, so the fact that this is sitting at an $8 price tag, also probably a good one. I would go ahead and offload for $8. For a card, it's not like overly performing. It's a solid card. But if you only need 2 copies, if you have extras, I'd go ahead and get rid of them for $8 a copy. I think that's a pretty good dropping off point. Beelzemon X still sitting here at about $5. Kind of a surprise, because the more and more further we go, like I said, the less and less we'll see this deck get played, especially post-hit. The price has definitely plummeted from where it was, for sure. But yeah, now down to $5-6. Ouch. And it will not go back up. I do not see this card going back up. So if you got some extras, maybe this was the one you go ahead and offload now before it ends up being like these other guys here in this $3 price range. Because, get it while you can. $5-6. That's double your money on these guys. If not, you're just going to be losing value. All right, so that is it for our just little mini market watch. Now, what are we looking at? How do we anticipate the market? How do we make money off of this, right? So, of course, what's the standard quota? Buy low, sell high, right? Okay, duh. No kidding. Okay, give us a little bit more better information than that. So picking up cards before they boom, that's difficult, right? Now, so what happens is a lot of times cards will get announced for JP, like, hey, this card's coming out next set, and people are like, oh crap, I need that one really old card that goes with that. And then the people that are really on top of it, they see that announcement immediately, they know what's going to be good with it, they shoot over to TCG Player, wherever, Card Trader, and they buy up the playset that they need if they don't have it already, or if they're really, really sly, they do a buyout and shoot the market up, and then once they get them all, then they repost them for whatever new price that they're at, much higher than what they purchased them at. That's issues with buyouts in general, though. That's always the case. Doesn't even matter if it's what the case is. If there's a buyout on it, then they can resell those cards for a higher price. But that's really good for announcements, but sometimes that's not enough, right? Just because there's an announcement doesn't mean a card's going to be good. And so you can take that gamble on if a card's going to do well or not, but we have something really, really nice for us as English players. We have DigimonMeta.com, which shows us the JP format. Now, does JP format always translate into English format? No, but where it does work is in the market. If a deck does well in the JP format, people will buy up the cards in the English format that's available currently, so that way they can be ready in case that deck does turn out to be good in the future format for the English players. They'll have those cards before they go up in price. So if a deck starts doing extremely well in one of these formats, buyers will go in and they'll pick the cards up that are going to be good before then. And that's one of the best things that you can do, right, is to go check ahead, see what's going to do well. I can give you an example right here. Now, not really necessarily one of the best decks in this in the future format. It is a solid deck, but you'll have what is it? The Omnimon deck right here. The Idrisil and stuff like that, with, why can't I think of this name? Royal Knights. Jeez Louise. And sorry, I need an ad blocker like real bad. So just take an example right here. Look ahead. What cards can we pick up that are going to be used in this deck that we could pick up now, right? Looks like here they got some Gallantmon techs in there, some Alt-Art Gallantmons, Emperor Greymon, really interesting. But like Sistermons are going to be a big one used in this. So if you pick up the Alt-Arts now, while they're still low, by the time people start thinking like way far ahead for when BT13 comes out in 2 months, about a month beforehand, people are like, okay, next set comes out, I need to go ahead and pick up my cards now before the prices go up. But if you were the guy that was like 2 months beforehand, you picked that stuff up for dirt cheap. And to say you bought like 8 copies, kept 4 for myself, got 4 to sell back later, make all my money back, and still have my play set. So sell the 4 for the cost that it cost me to pick up 8. So that's an idea that you can do. And you can apply that same theory to all of this. And that's one of the best things about having something like this is, will these decks be good when it comes to our format? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll get hit with a ban list. But when it comes to the market, they're almost always a safe bet. You can go ahead and pick them up early while they're still cheap in our format. And then about a month beforehand, the price will go up and up and up and up and up. Okay? But that's looking out way into the future. And you got to sit on those cards for like 2 months, right? Let me spend, $200 and I don't get a turnaround on that for another 2 months. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it sucks. But that's part of investing, right? If you're into that sort of thing, that's how investments work. You invest all this money to get more money back later. And not always do investments work out. I mean, that's the same in the stock market. You invest in stocks in the stock market, and sometimes it'll go up, sometimes it'll go down. But with something like this, at least we have the insight that we have the tools available. Be like, okay, this should go up in price because of this deck right here, right? The deck is going to do good, so the price should go up on it, and it'll be really good to sell. And I think so far on a lot of our market watches or cards to get before a set releases, like we just posted, last week I think it was, we did a cards to get before EX4 comes out. Great time to pick up those cards. Maybe not now because it's been about 2 weeks, but watch those kind of videos and that'll give you ideas. If you're watching straight market watch videos, those aren't necessarily great for investment ideas. I know we just did one. I like them to see when a card has gone up in price, and I know, hey, let me go dig through my bulk and let me go sell some extras of those. Just going back here, like looking at all these SRs, it's like, oh yeah, I had like 7 extra superior modes, posted them all for sale. They all sold in less than 24 hours. So yeah, and so that was an instant almost $50 of stuff that was sitting in my bulk. So that's what I like on market watches is they give me that kind of insight of when to sell cards that I might have missed. But yeah, this is a great tool to predict the future. What you're using to invest in, go here, check a deck that's doing really, really well. What are you seeing multiple times here? It looks like Bloom Quartz is actually doing well, so maybe that's why that Quartz is doing so good. Freaking Dorbic still going strong in JP format. So yeah, just get a glimpse. Also, if you see something new and fresh, like some of this stuff has just been on here forever. Black War Greymon X. Look at this, Alphamon making a comeback. Alphamon gets a little bit new support in that set, so maybe there's something worth looking at there. And then yeah, just seeing what else is new here and clicking it, and it's like, okay, well, what in this exists already that I can go ahead and pick up. That is 100% not the deck that I clicked on. That's hilarious. Oh, it was. Sorry, I thought this was the new Omnimon deck. It is in fact not the new Omni. Yeah. But yeah, so use that. That's your tools. Hopefully, I know it's just a little bit of information. Hopefully that helps. That's what works for me, though, is I look to the future. That deck's good. I'm going to pick up all these cards that exist for it right now. Pick up the alt arts, okay, people? Yeah, you can grab some SRs like this and try to resell them later. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. You pick up an alt art for like less than $10. Like this Old Force X, right, is an example. He's like I think he's the lowest, yeah, next to poor Cross 7 here, of the cheapest alt art in the set. You're gonna have alt arts like that in sets like this. Oh god, look at this Darkness Boggermon down here for 7. Ouch. So you can pick up these alt arts while they're super cheap, right? Cards that have dipped, that were once meta and have now fallen off, and you can pick them up for like $10. And if you know that they get good in the future, then you can definitely capitalize on it. But you have to look so far ahead and kind of keep that in mind. And the one thing I don't like doing is relying on announcements, because if you go off of announcements like, oh, new Imperialdramon support coming out, all right, well, me and like the other 1,000 people that just saw that post on social media are now going to jump over and start buying them out. Yeah, okay, well, now you're just competing with lots of other people. Unless you were, like, literally there at, like, 3 a.m. when that post was made, and you can jump in there and start grabbing those cards while they're super cheap, that's going to be your best luck there. But, yeah, and that's usually a little bit more gambling, just relying on that sort of thing. Announcements of new cards coming out, because it's really hard to predict what's going to be good and what's not going to be good, and you don't know everything else that's going to be released that in that whole Evo line, right, that they're going to announce, or option cards and tamers and stuff like that. Like, don't go buying up all the Davises and then they're like, oh, and then here's an announcement for a Davis that's way better than all the other ones. You won't even use those other ones. You're like, crap, I just bought a playset of them. Yeah, don't rely on announcements overly such like that, unless you're just really, really good at, like, oh no, I got this, I got the insight. So, but that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully some of this is actually gonna be useful for you guys and not just me rambling about the most obvious crap ever and a completely waste of your time to watch this video. We shall see.